Hi, my friends. This is Lada from astrolada.com with your weekly astrology for the week of the 18th till the 24th of December 2017. And I've given this video a pretty bombastic name because I believe this is such a pivotal week. This year, probably the most important astrological, or one of the most important astrological events is happening this week. For many years, actually, Saturn is finally moving into its own sign, starting a new cycle of 29 years. When a planet moves into its own sign, and Saturn moves so slowly, so it takes 28, 29 years. When a planet moves into its own sign, it kind of starts new foundations, new beginnings. So we're almost like starting on a new karmic slate because Saturn is the planet of karma. Plus, we're having a powerful renewal on another level. There will be a new moon on the galactic center. So I'll walk you through both of those events and what it means. And I'm not going to do only just specific predictions for each sign. I'm going to speak generally about those influences. Yes, I'll mention each sign, but if you just skip to your sign and listen for 2 minutes what I say about your sign, you're going to miss so much of this prediction, which is on a deep esoteric level, psychological, emotional material. You're going to miss the big picture that I explain in the rest of the video. So if you're patient, stay with me. You have to learn to be patient because Saturn is moving into his sign. Saturn is the planet of patience. Capricorn is the sign of patience. We'll have to have a lot of that over the next 2.5 years if we want to fare well. So bear with me. How does this week start? Well, at the very beginning of the week, there will be a new moon, which means the sun and the moon are together in the sky over the galactic center. There is a new moon in Sagittarius every year, guys, but it happens at the galactic center so rarely. The degree of the galactic center is the 27th degree, and the new moon will be on the 26th degree, so it is there. So that's a rare, I don't know how, once in 100 years or how often this happens, that we have the degree of the galactic center triggered by both the biggest lights for us on Earth. So there will be a powerful alignment. Let me show you how it's going to look. Oops. Here we go. If this is planet Earth, we're watching from here, and then this is going to be the moon here. And then, sorry about that. I put a coconut oil on my fingers, so it's very slippery. This is the moon, and I'm drawing it like that because it's invisible. It's like a half. We're not going to be able to see it when it's a new moon. This is the sun. They're lining up. And then we have the galactic center. I wish I had a pen for it. Whew, sorry. Very destructive. Currently, like the energies of the galactic center. And this is what is the galactic center? It's basically the black hole in the middle of our Milky Way. This is where all the galaxies, the middle of our galaxy, the Milky Way. You know what a galaxy is? It's like that, you've seen it. So this is the galactic center exactly here. Well, it's much huger, our galaxy. We're in the rings of the galaxy, but this is the galactic center, the black hole in the middle. And according to scientific even calculations, when the planet aligns with the galactic center every day at different time during the day, there is a huge burst of psychic activity that happens. Basically, a psychic would be 3 times more correct, or people get powerful inspirations because this is the creative center. If we can locate where God is the Father, physically, of course, it's everywhere, but physically, where the burst of energy comes to evolution, to upgrade the evolution on Earth and on our solar system, overall, all the solar systems in our galaxy, it comes from the black hole, the galactic center, it was known in ancient cultures as the womb of the universe. It looks black. There is like a big band on sky of stars, and in the middle there's like a hole because it has this creative black hole that bursts all the high vibrational. It's like a high vibrational vortex that spurts the new information. It's probably very high level frequency information that comes to us. It's not like particles you can see, but something that transforms our DNA, that transforms the evolution, everything. So we have now Earth, Moon, Sun, and the galactic center aligned on one line, guys. Wow, this is huge. Why do I say this is huge? Because new moons are when, the sun and moon are together, father and mother of our local galaxy, not galaxy, of our local solar system. This is the moon is the mother, the sun symbolizes the male principles of the spiritual world. When they align every month on a new moon, there is a new creative burst, a man and a woman joined together, But it's on a more smaller level in different ways in the life of every person. But when they align with the father, so imagine this is like the Son, the Holy Spirit, and the Father aligning, because apparently the Holy Spirit has a female energy, so I'll compare it to the Mother, the Moon, according to esoteric sources. So imagine now we have the Trinity aligning together, represented by, because everything in the universe, I'm not being sacrilegious here comparing the Trinity, God, Son, God, Mother, Holy Spirit, Father, comparing it to planets, because every single principle has spiritual principle has a representation in material form, just for guidance or as a concentration of those spiritual energy that are manifesting in a material world. So if this is the female principle, that's the sun principle, the sun, that's the father principle, the galactic center. We're aligning them to Earth here. I don't know, I don't think it's just kind of crazy wishful thinking for me, but I think it's a huge restart. And as I said, it's about new beginnings every new moon, and the galactic center is the whole restart button of the galaxy. This is where everything new comes from, all evolutionary impulses to change karma, to change DNA, to change everything around us. So when these aligned powerful new beginnings, for me this week is so pivotal. It almost was gonna do such a karmic clearing blast for you and allow new beginnings. There will be such a channeling through the sun, the sun, the mother, up to Earth, to us powerful spirit. It's going to be like a creation of new life. New moons is about infusing new ideas, but in a much bigger level, in a cosmic, universal level. And the three high principles are involved there: father, son, father, mother, and son. And what I'm trying to say, guys, that there will be a big karmic clearance. And I've been talking already from November that first Saturn aligned with the galactic center. And it's still very close. It's within 2 degrees of the galactic center. And it's about to change that week into Capricorn. But Saturn is the planet of karma, and the galactic center is a restart button, new beginnings. It's known in ancient Vedic astrology as Mula, the root of everything. This is where everything, all the galactic dust space comes from, the space that all the planets, all the suns in our galaxy created are spurted from that center there. And Saturn is known as Father Time, as karma, as the planet that shows the results of our actions. And Saturn was passing over and is still very close to the galactic center. Basically, it will be like a bit here, as seen. I don't know. How do you draw Saturn? I don't know. Yeah, imagine this is Saturn. I think something like that. And it's maybe just 1 centimeter away from the galactic center, but it's part of this alignment. So I would put Saturn as well as the aligning of that. So the father time, karma, results of our past actions, the sun, the moon, and Earth, and the galactic center are all aligned. But I've been talking that what's been happening in the last couple of months, and maybe many of you are feeling it already. Some of you might not be consciously thinking about it, but events in their life have been manifesting it like the conclusion of karma. Because as I said, this karma is, Saturn is things from the past, things that have been crystallized, that are no longer necessary. And when it's transiting the central galactic sun, or the galactic center, there's this quickening of energy that passes through Saturn and clearing of old karma. So the last month or two, for many people, have been a period of clearing of old karma, of seeing the results of their actions for many years behind, because this has been the ending of karma of 29-year cycle, because Saturn is about 28-29-year cycle to before, you know, to enter into its own sign and to pass through the galactic center. And as I said, the galactic center is very close to the cusp of Capricorn, where the new beginnings of Saturn start. So we'll be given opportunity to create new karma, like starting on a clean slate, so to speak. But before we start on a clean slate, this quickening of karma has to happen. So consequences of our actions are sped up, especially the last 1-2 months. And you see, Saturn's been close to the galactic center for the last 2-3 months, if you ask me. Within 2-3 degrees is considered orb. So I'd say September, October, November, December, those months. And there's been powerful quickening of karma. So many things that people have done years ago, or let's say Kevin Spacey or Weinstein or politicians or something, it's been coming to the surface because Saturn aligning with the galactic center, the results of our actions, karma speeding up, and us seeing the results of our actions for better or good. For some people, there have been tremendous advancements as well. If they've been doing good, they're just seeing the crystallization results of their, the final results of their efforts, whether they were good or bad, you know. And when this happens, this quickening, now I believe it's like the peak with the alignment of the Earth, Sun, Moon, Sun, and Saturn with the galactic center. And till now, it's been like endings, you know, and completions, realizations. And because it's been happening in Sagittarius, the tropical sign of Sagittarius and sidereal, this karmic alignment of Saturn in the galactic center, we've had a lot of reevaluations of our belief systems. And Saturn has been, you know, in Sagittarius for the last 2.5 years. So it's almost like we're recapitulating and seeing how we've changed in the past 2.5 years, currently in those months and in those last weeks. How, and a lot of us lost our naivety in regards to our belief systems, because Sagittarius is our beliefs, how we perceive reality. It's also optimism, and Saturn is the planet of realism, of seeing things through a very pragmatic and realistic eye. And a lot of us had a slap in the face if we were blind about something, if we blindly believed in something. It might be political system, it might be faith in governments, it might be faith in some goals of ours, it might have been a person that we've put our faith in, blind faith, and we never kind of examined critically this situation. While Saturn was in Sagittarius, many of us had like an awakening to the harsh reality of truth, because Sagittarius is all about truth and belief system, and Saturn does it like, you know, well, Saturn does it with a heavy hand. He says, time for reality, slap, slap, this is how the real situation is, wake up, you know, don't be delusional. So our belief systems really transformed and changed, maybe through a slap. And belief system, again, they can, for some of you, might have been about relationships, about certain person in your life, about career, about your goals, about the whole world, about the nature of reality. It might be on a very different level, you know, depending what area of your horoscope Saturn rules and what house it triggered. So there was like a quickening of those realizations in the last couple of months, and a quickening of, you know, the change of perspective, how we perceive reality and our belief systems, and almost like a summarizing of those 2.5 years. And if we manage to change our belief systems in the right way and make the necessary adjustment to be more realistic, we might be seeing very good results now when Saturn is in the last days of being in Sagittarius, aligning with the galactic center. We might be seeing very positive results for many of us. Or if we have not been able to, and I'm not saying this is your fault and you should feel inferior or you should feel bad, Saturn is trying to quicken it these few weeks, these few months now. So because you have just very few time before Saturn moves away from the galactic center and restarts a new karma. So Saturn is trying to cram all the lessons you haven't learned almost in the last 29 years very quickly, or at least to bring certain realizations there, so you can clear up that karma and move on. So many people have been writing and emailing saying, what's happening? It's so intense, you know, it's the energies are off the hook. Some are having tremendous positive results, some are having very powerful inner psychological realizations, others are having very powerful like life is changing in a dramatic way around them, because Saturn is in a hurry to conclude that karmic cycle. And with this alignment now, so it's been more like about conclusions and endings and realizations and seeing results of some sort, almost like from actions that you don't have control over because they've been put in actions over the last 2 years or the last 29 years, because Saturn is finishing a small cycle of leaving a sign, which is 2.5 years, plus a big cycle of finishing a 29-year cycle of full circulation around the solar system, around the sun, which completes with Saturn entering Capricorn, but before that passing through the galactic center and clearing the old karma. And now this new moon in Sagittarius at the galactic center will be, these new moons are about new beginnings, so there will be that area of your life. Imagine you've had some area in your life that for many years, or maybe the recent few years, you know, as I said, it's the conclusion of a small 2-year cycle and a big 29-year cycle. So it might be an issue that's been standing for many years for life with you, or just for the recent few years. Imagine something that you thought that is unresolvable, or something that you just kind of, it's felt like it's so ingrained in your reality, so crusty. It might be an addiction, it might be some habit you're living with, it might be some way of living, or way of perceiving yourself, your ego and your structures in life and your career, whatever. Imagine it's something that, and imagine it's karmic and it's problematic because Saturn is involved here, remember. And it's very karmic, which means that it's not something we're dealing for the first time with. It's not something that came a month ago and we're able to deal with it and move ahead with. It's something that is from a repeating pattern over and over, something that we almost feel like we don't have power over, and it's part of our reality now. Well, this is exactly the kind of things that can find resolution now, or completion, or ending, or certain realization that it's not necessary those things stay in our life, and that we resolve it and move away from such a karmic problem. With this alignment, this is what I'm getting, you know, astrologically, is that something can change over the next 1 month. Because remember, new moon impacts us till the next new moon, which will be in January, towards the 20th or something like that of January. I'm not sure exactly. Yes, that was going to be the eclipse. But yes, so we have 1 month to feel the influences of this new moon, which means that something totally new, with a powerful impulse from the galactic center, with this powerful alignment of new beginning of father, mother lining up together, and Saturn being in the picture. So clearing up of old, we've been clearing up the old, and now like resolution of some big karmic problem, something that's been heavy on you. It might be a health problem, it might be a habit, it might be belief system, something, or it might be consistent problems, like having problems with authority figures or bosses or something, or having to take care of an elderly person. It doesn't mean something that it's been around for a while. You can clear it up with this new energy that speeds up and brings the vibration higher and speeds up the new beginnings through this new moon on the galactic center. I don't know if I'm making it too complicated. Maybe but I'm trying to present to you the enormity of this alignment with the planet of karma, with the center of new beginnings and the new moons of new beginnings on the earth. So I really want to, guys, to encourage you and to make you feel positive about that. Yes, it might have been quite intense time, but a new beginning is allowed to us, and a new flourishing in different spheres of our life, and cleaning up some big, long-standing problem that was with us, that crippled us for many years, that almost become part of our personality and self-identity, that we can resolve and be free of. And also, because of this new moon, for 1 month, you start seeing like this new powerful impulses coming, a new belief system, because it's happening in the tropical sign of Sagittarius and the sidereal sign of Sagittarius. It's gonna be this new beginning. It's gonna be triggered by powerful shift in your perceptions, because Sagittarius is about our beliefs, or about seeing the bigger picture, or about seeing a perspective that's much higher, that releases you from certain shackles, karmic shackles. For example, let me give you a simple example. It might be something like you always thought you'd be smoking all your life, and all of a sudden your life makes the meaning of life, you see it from a higher perspective, and you get in this new moon alignment with the galactic center gives you a new impetus for life. For example, you realize that your mission here is to research some to do some business or whatever, to make some research in mythology or whatever it is, you know, some new goal that comes to your life that all of a sudden really shows you how small it is to be in the shackles of addiction, say smoking or some other addiction. So all of a sudden it just feels inconsequential and so unimportant in the grand picture of your whole life that's presented to you like a new kindling of inspiration, a new goal that comes to you through the Sagittarius new moon with the galactic center, because Sagittarius is about inspiring us for a new meaning, about showing us a bigger picture, about seeing a bigger meaning and connecting with higher purpose and meaning. And because of that, because Saturn is part of this picture as well, in the galactic center, the burst is so powerful, it breaks through old shackles. Saturn is shackles and old patterns, karmic, that are kind of binding us. And it breaks through that, and it allows us a new beginning, a higher perspective in some area of our life. Because something shifts in our mind, in our perspective, we're able to let go of, you know, because our mentality, how we perceive it changes, we're able to let go of some big karmic thing that's been around us for a long time. So look out for those things in the next 1 month. Maybe for some of you, it already started. I'm noticing it's shifting psychological perspective, but also it might be shifting in the reality around us that triggers the change of the mental gears of Sagittarius. Is our high perspective, our highest self rules Sagittarius. The lower self, the lower mind is Gemini, and the higher self is through which we perceive the bigger reality, Sagittarius. So something will shift there in our reality, in our consciousness, that allows us to break through old patterns. Okay, I know I might have been repeating myself too much, but I believe this is so important to mention. And a new inspiration, this new moon in Sagittarius for the next 1 month. Watch out for new powerful Sagittarius is meaning, purpose in life, higher vision, new goals, new opportunities, new horizons that appear, an understanding of reality which breaks through old patterns. And of course, the next biggest thing that's happening this week, and it's part of this whole process, is that Saturn is moving into Capricorn. Wow. As I said, this is the start of a new karmic cycle, and we're starting it in such a powerful way because the clearing of old karma with this new moon, which is aligned with Saturn and the galactic center, the beginning of everything, the galactic center, and Saturn starting a new cycle exactly, you know, I think it's on the 20th of, you know, Saturn is moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn. I was talking what Saturn and Sagittarius was doing, bursting the bubble and all belief systems and stuff. And for the next 2.2 years, Saturn will be in its inception place, because a sign, a planet is carries the energy of the sign it rules. So this is the new beginning of Saturn. Let me draw it in another way. It's a bit esoteric, but if this is the circle of the zodiac, and you know, they're 12. I don't know if I'll do them exactly 12, but doesn't matter. So Saturn takes 30 or 28, 29 years. This is the sun here, and this is Saturn moving around the sun. I suppose these are 12 signs, imagine. And say this is Sagittarius, this is Capricorn, this is Aquarius. This is the inception place of Capricorn. This is the mother sign of Capricorn, of Saturn, the planet Saturn. And when Saturn, let's draw it like that. When Saturn moves into its own sign, which is happening next week, and we'll be there for 2.5 years, guys, it's like a rebirth of the father time, karma, new reset, new start of time, of anything that Saturn rules, new structures, new governments. The world you are in right now, this is what Robert Phoenix said in our webinar on Saturn in Capricorn. It was tremendously informative. He carried on for 3.5, 4 hours almost. This guy is a genius. And I don't want to repeat the things he said, you can check out the webinar on astrolada.com, but he made some amazing world predictions. And I'll try to stick to mine, not to take his, but they were sensational predictions, and I totally believe him. But Capricorn and Saturn, they rule, when it starts a new cycle, totally new beginning start in regards to everything that's Capricorn and Saturn, which they are the same structures, governments, political systems, businesses, institutions, corporations. And look back to when Saturn was in Capricorn 29, 28 years ago. That was 90, 89, and 1990. What happens? Communism fell. An institution, or how do I say, governments, at least 15, 20 countries that had communistic governments for decades, where actually the system collapsed. The Berlin Wall fell down. The Cold War finished. I mean, this was the most important time in the last 30 years, and the most pivotal, the most revolutionary, transformative in regards to our whole life, and in regards to the fiber of reality, was when Saturn was in Capricorn 28, 29 years ago. And it's coming in again. And by the end of those 2.5 years, guys, that start from next week, nothing will be the same after that. When you wake up 2020, and Saturn comes out of Capricorn, goes into Aquarius, you'll be like, wow, what happened? The world is a different place. Not only the outer world, it will definitely impact us on a personal level, but also our inner world, our personal world, because Saturn is about all foundations, all structures, and Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn. So we'll be building totally new structures in our life, totally new. And there is a dark agenda with Saturn in Capricorn. This is when globalism started, as Robert Phoenix talks about it. And this is when Capricorn symbolizes Capricorn is a goat. And what is the goat? It's a symbol of Satanism and all those things. He tremendously explains this. He says, like, the globalist elite agendas have had that period on their maps, and they're waiting for it to try to consolidate their power. There'll be powerful battle between good and bad, between the old and the new structures. They're trying to create a globalist grip, fully much more control. But at the same time, this is a restart of Saturn, and new structures will be creating new structures, because the collective consciousness is much stronger than a group of elite that is trying to control us. But of course, Sauron, as Robert Phoenix also compares Saturn, the all-seeing eye, a big brother that tries to control us. Saturn in Capricorn will tighten up its regime, will tighten up its control on us. But at the same time, the rebellion from us will be even bigger, because Saturn will join Pluto there, the planet of big revolutions. And there will be, just like there were huge revolutions and falling of systems in 1990, 2089, the same way. And I believe that the generation that was born there will play a big role in those huge demonstrations and change of power that is changing hands. The more the big brother is trying to consolidate, and the satanic forces, elite satanic forces, which they exist, don't think. Even in the Bible says that the world will be under the influence of the prince. God will allow that under the influence of the dark forces. They're controlling us now, even though there's so much good in the world as well. Because there's just a small handful of those dark forces that control us, while everyone else is awakening and is doing so much good. But still, they're gonna be their time. They're gonna be thinking, we're gonna consolidate our power now. We're gonna bring in and lock down this final globalist agenda. But there will be a surprise for them. As check out the webinar, guys. This is amazing predictions that he does. But as I said, all structures will be changing. We'll be creating structures. And Saturn in Capricorn on a personal level will be about new mastering, powerful ability to master. Just a second. Sorry, yeah. So it's Capricorn is about master, and Saturn are about mastering. This is the ultimate what Saturn wants to accomplish. So, for example, if your Aries, Saturn will be in your 10th house for the next 2.5 years, starting from next week. You're gonna be asked to master, if you're Aries, especially Aries rising, to a lesser degree as Sun as well, but you'll be acquired, and the Moon, you'll be acquired to master your career. You'll be acquired to master a professional field you've chosen. You'll be required, through discipline and hard work in creating new structures, you'll be required to structure, compartmentalize, master, put order in your career, in your goals, to master being a boss, being a commander of your ship, the 10th house. If you are Taurus, this will be in your 9th house, will be required to master your belief systems, to master new horizons, to master foreign countries, to master communications with people that are foreign, very different than you, that live in different countries, to master higher education, to master higher belief systems, to master your relationship with God. If you're a Gemini, you'll be required for the next 2.5 years to master healing processes, to integrate the dark shadow side of yourself. The 8th house is everything we're afraid of and everything that overpowers us and our biggest fear, to master those biggest fears. I know it sounds scary, but it's a tremendously empowering job. So Gemini will be empowering themselves by confronting their fears, over healing on a deep level. But everything with Saturn is slow. It takes 2.5 years. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen next week. So Gemini will be mastering and healing wounds that have been there, traumatic wounds from many years, many lifetimes ago. They'll be confronting those fears and seeing that they're not so scary and that they have control over them and that they can master anything that has control over you. This is the 8th house, that they can take the upper hand on that. And also to master mutual resources and finances. That's on the material level. To master, say, business resources, business investments, the resources of your partner, you know. So you can be a master, you can graduate as a master. It's a gradual process, but in 2.5 years, Gemini, you can have a tremendous knowledge and skill. And of course, how do you master something? By being presented with challenges. And Saturn is a tough teacher. So it will be very demanding on you. You're going to be allowed to master that area of your life, but Saturn will be like, I'll give you, you know, tests that are quite, you know, for a master tests, you know, but also the opportunity to learn and to be constructive in that area of your life. If you're Cancer, you're mastering relationship, business or personal relationship. You're mastering marriage. You're mastering to understand what is realistic in your relationship, who you keep, who you leave. You're mastering keeping up your promises to others. You're mastering being accountable to others as well. You're mastering in the next 2.5 years how to create boundaries and correct relationships and promises and agreements, business or personal, with others. If you're Leo, you'll be mastering and creating new structures in your work environment. You'll be mastering work. You'll be mastering being an apprentice. 6th house is being an apprentice. So a lot of work will come to you, a lot of responsibilities. But this is how an apprentice is trained to perfect their skills. And 6th house is to do with the trade that you learn, or, you know, or something to do with your work in some way. So mastering that, perfecting your skills, also to master your health, to master your illnesses, to master your 6th house is your enemies. Leos, you'll be doing that, mastering your reactions to your enemies, how you deal with them, illnesses, anything that has kind of wants to attack you in some way as well. You're mastering those, and to master your debt. 6th house is also debt. For Virgo, you're mastering your love life. You're mastering how you give and receive love. You're mastering boundaries there, whether you should create such and realistic expectations about love. You're mastering being and interacting with children. You're mastering creating a business or creating something from scratch. 5th house is the house of creativity. You're mastering maybe some hobby that you can as well, some passion of yours, how to be in control of your passions, how to be in control of your to take something you're passionate about and master it into business or something like that. And you're mastering children as well, and how to deal with children and your own creative impulses, of course, with challenging lessons, because Saturn, that's how he does it. But we are masters by the end of this process. If you are Libra, you're mastering your family life, responsibility at home, duties. You know, you're mastering property, real estate. You're mastering in the next 2.5 years anything to do with parents and with parental karma and relationships, and with feelings, how you feel about yourself, about the past as well. You're mastering the past. Some of you might start digging into history and stuff like that as well. It's not necessary that you have family problems so you can master how to be a good family member, you know, or problems with your house and property. But or you might be mastering building houses. You might end up being able to have built a house by the end of this process, and you're a master builder, you know, or master real estate flipper, whatever, or a master parent, you know. If you're a Scorpio, you're mastering skills and communication, some powerful new skills, some powerful skill set that you have to perfect. And you're mastering how to be a better communicator, more structured, how to organize your thought processes, how to organize your thinking logical, the lower mind, as we call it, how to organize, how to master everyday reality and interactions with others, with teammates, workmates, colleagues, how to master relationships with siblings, with relatives, with even friends in our everyday environment. Of course, there might be challenges, but at the end, you graduate a master. If you are Sagittarius, you're mastering finances. And many people, when I did Saturn in the Signs age video for December, Saturn to Signs, they were like, oh, so all bad things for us. No, Saturn in the second house is not going to take your money necessarily, unless you're total failure at managing money, you know. Then this is how you're going to become a master, by being awakened to harsh reality of how crappy you are with money. But if you're already good with that, you'll become even better. So by the end of this process, you might have much more safety in your bank account. And by learning to, you know, to master resourcefulness, by learning to master utilitarian abilities, basically to conserve, to energy, money, resources. So you're mastering resources now. You might end up with much more resources, you know, because you mastered it. Or because that if you are not very good at that, you just had to, you learn. So after that, for 29 years, you have a much better ability to deal with resources, with finances at a masterful level compared to before this transit. If you're Capricorn, you're mastering your whole life. You're building new foundations in your life, guys. Your life will be transformed. And they were saying, oh, for Capricorn is the worst again, because I was saying the health problems might come and whatnot, because the first house is our vitality, our self-confidence, our personal efforts. Well, yes, these will be challenged. So we learned how to master them, to master our health, maybe start a workout routine, taking care of our muscles, of our body, to master aging process, to master our own destinies. When Saturn transits the first house, you are asked to become a master of your destiny and to create new structures and to take things in your hands, to get empowered, to be the one that starts new beginnings. Till now, this power was taken away from many Capricorns. They were more under the influence of karmic energies, you know, but now this power comes to them. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be under pressure. You're going to be doubting yourself at moments, but at the end, you'll become master initiator, master creator of your own reality, master creator of your own health and your destiny. That's the first house. Okay, if you're Aquarius, you're mastering your dreams, the 12th house. I mean, like in sleeping even. Just like I'm Aquarius rising, and I started trying to awaken consciously in my dreams, you know, trying to master my dreams. This is one easy aspect of, you might be mastering completions and endings. You might be mastering learning to detach and to be more, to leave behind. You might be mastering your past karma and issues from the past that you're able to deal with and resolve in the next 2.5 years. You might be mastering the ability to resolve old issues and to be totally clean when Saturn enters into your sign. And mastering also the ability to let go and let God, trust in a higher way, you know, in a higher power. 12th house is very spiritual. Saturn there wants you to master things from a spiritual perspective, from your soul, from the higher perspective. You know, if you're Pisces, you might be mastering your friendships. You'll be mastering social networks, creating a social environment around you that is truthful, that is realistic, that is socio-economically supportive of you, rather than just friends that waste your time, or, you know, or that you waste their time. So creating and mastering the right kind of karmic and the right kind of goals. 11th house is also about long-term goals, realistic goals, and actually going after them and mastering and completing. A lot of you Pisces would have been able to complete by following a step-by-step process, gradual, by the next 2.5 years, would complete some long-term goals of theirs, especially social economic goal. Maybe to be part of some organization, to get some promotion, to get some title or honor, you know, to be member of some circle that you've always wanted to be. So for Pisces, it's almost like mastering, fulfilling their goals and dreams, and mastering and doing it through masterful connections with the right people and the right circles. So that's what it is. You see, they can be extremely positive spin on Saturn in Capricorn. And I wanted to present this to you in case you've been feeling more negative, but such a wonderful, I mean, intense week. And all those things, it's going to take you 2.5 years to see them, but just preparing you mentally. But currently, as I said, the most important thing this week is this alignment of the new moon. For the next 1 month, it will affect you with the galactic center and with Saturn. And this kind of cleansing of old karmic issues and allowing you, giving you new inspiration, new direction, new vision in life, which will help you resolve some issue from the past, like that. So thank you so much, guys. I hope you watched the whole video. I know not everyone has, I don't know, 50 minutes, but I poured my heart and soul in that. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for supporting me. I made a video recently about shaming, and it's like people came up and they were so supportive and so kind. I love you. This is I'm so happy that such people are following me, and we're such a community together. And I don't like to say you're following me. No, we're a community together. Actually, I get my energy and my inspiration through you. I only do those things because I get this inspiration through you, not because I want to be queen and you to follow me and to adore me or something like that. No, I'm doing it because it's amazing the type of energy you give me with your support, with your comments, with your love. Thank you so much. Happy Christmas in advance. And do check the 2018 calendar that me and Marina have done. It's 103 pages, guys. And it has all the transits, all the important cosmic events in 2018, solar eclipses, and the meaning of each one of them. Say, for example, if tomorrow Venus is joined with the sun, it's a great time for love and relationships. So everything, day by day, what is good day for 103 pages, when planets are visible, when invisible, what does it mean? So check this out, a bit of promotion. Also check out my webinar with Rumen Kolev, 14 hours, ancient astrology. We're looking at the constellations and the meaning of each degree. So it's secrets of degrees, secrets of constellations, the 12 signs. 14-hour webinar, $180. Otherwise, it's $2,000 as a webinar to be present as a weekend webinar, basically. So he offers it for much lesser price to Astrolada viewers. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. And feel those tremendous energy in the air. Tap into them. And I'm wishing you smooth transition into the new era, the new epoch that is starting from next week.